Hey guys, this is Shawn, Digital Learning Coach for Union County. I'm going to show you how to use programs like Google Slide and Jamboard to do what I consider to be, instead of a whiteboard, a glassboard. And so this is where you're going to have your image as part of your background. So your camera is going to be the background, and then you're actually writing or presenting on top of it. So the way this differs is normally when we kind of do these presentation pieces, you might do a picture-in-picture set where you're sitting off to the side. So you're over in this area occupying some space on your board, and so anytime you start to write down here, you block it. Isn't very obtrusive for a lot of the programs we do, but you might want a little more like visual engagement with your kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to occupy this area here, but when I write, I want it to go away, go over top of me. So what I've done is I'm in Jamboard, and we can, like I said, you can use Google Slides, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Microsoft Whiteboard, whatever presentation piece you have that allows you to set the background, you can do this with. So instead of doing a green screen, and what I would have to do there is have a green background and add that as my image, I'm just going to do this blue board, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm using OBS. I'm going to Chromekey this area out. And so what's going to happen is that's going to disappear, and it's going to add my face in and just have a black background, because I'm going to actually have typically a green screen behind me. I'm going to have that chroma keyed out as well. So once again, I'm using OBS to do this, and that's just my video capture tool. And so let me show you what this will look like when we actually apply this in. So I'm inside my Jamboard. I'm literally occupying the space within it, and so anything I do, if I start writing, it goes over top of me, so it's appearing in front of me. And so I have this area off to the side that's not doing anything because that's part of the window, but then all that was blue, this whole area here, is now disappeared out, and it's just letting my camera show through. And so as a teacher, I can sit here and present my lesson and solve problems out. So I'm going to do 2x plus 4 equals 8. And so as I'm teaching, this is slowly going to start occupying the area in front of me, but it's not going to cause any obstruction in my lesson. So I'm going to have to subtract 4 from both sides and bring down my 2x. Since I didn't do anything with it, that zeroes out, so I can leave that alone. 8 minus 4 is 4. And so everything's starting to show up on my face, but I'm still teaching, I'm still engaging my students, and you know, it might be kind of humorous for the kids to see that part of it. So I'm going to divide by 2, and x, 1x, if I want to get into that part of the lesson, x equals 2. So I can have all this in front of me and still show, and if I don't like the black background, I can always add another layer and put like a white image in there and have it there. At any point in time, I can always like pull away from the board, but gotta let it refocus. But this is just kind of a neat thing, and like I said, you can sit there and let your kids have a little fun with it, and you can goof off and play around with your own expense and draw on your own face. So be as goofy as you want with it. Nice thing with like Google Slides, if I'm doing the same idea, is I have, let me jump over so you can see what I'm kind of doing here. So I just have a not white box, a random box here, and it's that same color that I was just working with, so I can have this set anywhere in my slide and move my camera to that position, and then place everything else I want. So I might be doing a lesson where we're talking about weather and the appropriate dress for the kids, and I jump into the actual lesson itself, and my kids play a little game of dress up with me, and they move it over and put it in place. And so you're dressing your teacher for the appropriate weather, goofing off like that just to be engaged. But like I said, this could just be a little box inside your lesson that you're working with, and then just have everything else start appearing. And anytime you add anything in, let's put a little heart in here, it'll appear over top. I just need to make sure I adjust my colors. And so I'm not obstructing the lesson, it's sitting on top of the lesson. And I did this as a shape. You could do the background instead, and you could have a whole window frame setup that you have designed and kind of play around and tweak. So there's all kinds of different little modifications you can make to make it fit with your lesson a little better. So I'm going to jump into OBS. It's a little harder to track with OBS, so bear with me on this. So I'm in OBS, and this first one is just how I'm actually capturing OBS, so you wouldn't have this, and then there's my audio, which depending on how you're recording it, you'd want to have in there. So I'm doing the window capture. That's the big thing. And so that's going over to my Jamboard or my Google Slide or my PowerPoint, whatever you're running, but I have to apply a filter on it. And the filter I'm running is this Chromekey. And so that would be adding the Chromekey. I named mine blue because that's the color I had to select. So I selected a custom blue, and I just went with the Jamboard default blue, and then I found the coding for it, and that way I didn't have to tweak and play around. I just wanted that specific blue to go away. And you'll notice any similar blue, it will catch a little bit, but you can play around and adjust that to make it more fitting for whatever lesson you're doing. So just play around with the levels till you get it to where you want. And then underneath it is just my camera. Like I said, I have a green screen behind me, so I also have a filter on it to get rid of the green screen. And then I just dropped a whiteboard image behind it if I wanted to. So once again, if I wanted it to be white behind me, I just engaged that whiteboard image. But that was optional. That's not anything you have to do. And like I said, this is just a different way of approaching this type of lesson. Play around with it. Like I said, you can come up with all kinds of really neat ideas. It is neat with the younger kids to kind of show them different ways that you're doing your lessons and just kind of keep them on their toes by doing something different. Thank you guys for your time. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask, and hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Please click the like button and subscribe so you can stay up to date on any future videos.